Agi, and as Season 1 of Chapter 2 finally winds down, I think it's fair to say that a lot of us are excited to finally see the arrival of Season 2. Although I've enjoyed a lot of what Epic have done this season, I really do believe that Season 1 of this new chapter has outstayed its welcome, with the season being extended so much that it's ended up being almost as long as 2 usual seasons. Because of this, it's all gotten a little bit stale. So in today's video, I thought it would be a good time to look forward to Season 2. And with the help of a lot of people online, I've compiled a list of 13 things that I needed to bring back the excitement to Fortnite in the upcoming season. So let's start with number 1. We need more mobility. Over the last few seasons, we've been spoiled for choice when it comes to mobility. We've had plenty of vehicles, like ballers and driftboards. We've had items, like launch pads and shockwave grenades. And then we've had map-based mobility, like rifts and air vents, all of which made it incredibly easy to get around the map. However, with the introduction of Chapter 2, we saw all of these removed from the game, with the only new form of mobility being the boats and swimming. Granted, I do think that these were great additions to the game, but they're simply not enough. And I tell you what, I'm sick of dying to the storm this season. The game is crying out for a new land vehicle, or maybe an old one. I'd gladly see the return of the ATK, which I really do believe is the most balanced vehicle we've ever had. And I'd also love to see some new mobility items. Number 2, we need some variety in the loot pool again. Now, Season X had a horrible loot pool with so much unusable filler. What this meant is that the start of Chapter 2 felt refreshing, with the game having a much more refined loot pool. However, after around 4 months, with almost no new weapons, the loot pool started to become stale. There isn't any variety in the weapons we use nowadays, causing every fight to play out almost exactly the same way. We need more fun weapons again. Not everything has to be meta, but the loot pool is crying out for some new options to choose from. Something like the flintlock would be nice to bring back, or a new shotgun. I mean, we've only got 2 shotguns in the game right now. What's the harm in bringing back a slightly buffed version of the heavy shotgun? So far, the only new additions we've got in Chapter 2 are the heavy assault rifle through side grading and the harpoon, but that's mainly used for fishing anyway, so it barely even counts. Hopefully next season we'll finally get some fun new weapons to play with, as it's been long overdue. Number 3, we need more frequent updates. A big reason that Chapter 2 has dragged on is because there's been almost nothing new to bring us back. This was fine for the first month or 2 when we were still exploring the new map and everything else that came. But since then, we've had very little exciting content this season. Now don't get me wrong, I don't think we need to go back to how it was before, when Epic would introduce new weapons and items every single week, and rushing them out before it seemed like they'd even tested them, but we certainly need more updates than we've had this season. I think a happy medium would be to give us updates every 2 weeks, whether that be new weapons, items, or points of interest. Which leads me to my next point. Number 4. Epic needs to bring back patch notes. Now, up until this season, Epic were always really good at communicating with their players about what's going on with the game. But since the start of Chapter 2, Epic have told us as little as possible, with them even deciding to remove patch notes altogether. This was a really strange decision that I wasn't a fan of, as it meant that Epic could be making fundamental changes to how the game works, and we wouldn't have a clue. I used to look forward to reading the patch notes every week, and I know that a lot of other people did as well. So hopefully, next season, Epic brings back patch notes. And not just vague, uninformative ones, like they did midway through the season. Number 5. The Chaos engine needs to be an improvement, and can't be buggy. Now, with Epic recently telling us that they'll be switching over to the brand new Chaos game engine, it gives us a lot of new opportunities for where the game will go. It allows Epic to change the way building works, with it allowing for builds to partially break, like what would happen in a game like Battlefield. By moving over to the new game engine, it could revolutionise the way the game works, which is certainly exciting. However, whatever Epic do decide to do with it, it's important that they don't ruin the game with all these changes, which is always a risk. They've said that they want the game to still feel like Fortnite, which is essential, but it's also important that the changeover to the new game engine goes as smoothly as possible. We don't want to deal with weeks of hitching and bugs, like we did at the start of Chapter 2. Number 6. Remove skill-based matchmaking from pubs. Now, skill-based matchmaking definitely has been one of the most controversial introductions to Fortnite, with most above average players against it, and many who are average to below average all for it. And I can completely understand why Epic implemented it, as it can be very intimidating for new players, knowing that they can run into players that have played for years now. However, we don't need skill-based matchmaking in pubs, when we already have it in Arena. Pubs should be chilled, they should be casual. With skill-based matchmaking in pubs, all it does is punish people for working to improve at the game, as they instantly get faced against better opponents. Therefore, any work to improve at the game is essentially pointless, as players will never actually do better in games, with them always facing tougher opposition anytime they improve. My solution to this would be to keep skill-based matchmaking in pubs, but only for brand new players, and the really bad players. So then once they've spent time learning the game, and improved, they can be put against the rest of us. Another potential solution would be to make Arena worth playing, as this already has skill-based matchmaking. Therefore, players of all skill levels would be able to play against those around their own skill level, which is good for everyone. And especially by making experienced players want to play Arena, suddenly that would make pubs way more casual friendly, and much less like scrims, like they are nowadays. Which brings me to my next point. Number 7. Arena needs a big overhaul. Arena should work in a similar way to other games, where you can move up or down a rank based on your performance, as this ensures that people keep playing against those around their own skill level. This isn't the case with the current format, as you can't move down a division, which means that there is a big skill gap between the best players and the worst players in each division. Also, currently, unless you're someone trying to make money playing Fortnite, there isn't really any incentive to play Arena. It's harder to get wins, it's more stressful, and the queue times are much longer, so most people tend to stick to pubs. Therefore, as I've said many times now, Epic needs to make Arena worth playing. They need to start rewarding players each season, based on which division they reach, whether it be with free skins, back blings, or skin styles. And why not introduce a trophy system, so each season players can be given a trophy based on which division they reached, which is kept in a trophy cabinet that you can look at. You can also give trophies for performance in the cash cups or other tournaments. That way, you can look back on what you've achieved and compare it with your friends. As you can see on the screen now, it could look similar to this, which was used on FIFA a few years ago. This would really motivate a lot of people to start grinding Arena, because currently, you don't actually get anything for reaching each division in Arena, other than being able to play in some tournaments when you hit Champions Division. There was a time when you used to get pins if you reached a certain amount of points, but they didn't actually lead to anything, and it didn't even track how many pins you'd achieved. So how pointless was that? And if we're keeping a hype system, then why not introduce a leaderboard? That way, people could compare themselves to others in their region and see how they stack up against their friends. Also, with skill-based matchmaking being tighter in Arena, it's about time Epic came good on their promise to allow players to play in creative, whilst waiting for an Arena match. This is a great idea that was proposed by Epic quite a while ago now, so it's about time we saw that implemented into the game. And making Arena a bigger part of Fortnite should be a priority for Epic, because it'll stop more experienced players from wanting to play pubs and scaring off the new players and the casuals. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. Number 8. We need SIPHON and an increased harvesting rate back in pubs. Now, this is very much reliant on my last 2 points, as it only applies if skill-based matchmaking remains in pubs. Epic made the controversial decision to remove these from pubs, as they believed it made worse players play a lot less, due to skilled players being able to dominate even more than before. I was against this decision, as I personally love SIPHON being in the game, but I could definitely understand their reasoning. However, with skill-based matchmaking now in pubs, there isn't really any need to protect bad players from good players, as they won't be in the same matches. It made the game so much more fun, as you relied less on loot RNG. You didn't need to spend most of the game farming, and it was a genuinely decent counter to third partying, something that has plagued the game for many seasons now. Even if Epic don't want to give players 50 shield per kill, why not at least give 25? Or make it so that players get 50 health, rather than shield. Honestly, anything is better than nothing. Number 9. Crossplay needs to be reverted back to how it was in Chapter 1. Currently, every single match is cross-platform, meaning it doesn't matter whether you're on PC, console or mobile, as you will automatically be put in the same lobbies. Naturally, this has led to a lot of frustration from players, with many complaining about it being unfair. As a PC player, this doesn't really affect me too much, but I can understand why everyone else is frustrated. So hopefully, Epic reverts crossplay back to how it was in the past, where you'd only play against PC players if you had a PC player in your party. Number 10. We need to see the return of the Fortnite storyline. The storyline in the world of Fortnite has been such a big thing ever since the Rocket event back in Season 4, but ever since the start of Chapter 2, nothing to do with the story has really happened. I've always found the storyline to be one of the most exciting and unique parts of Fortnite, but currently it's looking like Epic are more bothered about crossovers with films and other games, rather than developing their own storyline. So let's hope that Season 2 sees Epic focus more on building the story for their own game, rather than crossovers. Number 11. Give us an FOV slider. The game has been crying out for an FOV slider for a long time. Currently, the game's field of view is so zoomed in to a ridiculous level that it can make it impossible to see your opponents if they're right in your face. This has gotten me killed on a number of occasions, and it's something that I've found incredibly frustrating these last few months especially, ever since box fighting became the meta. Epic have said that they don't want one because it will cause motion sickness, which is absolutely ridiculous and completely untrue. There's nothing wrong in at least giving us the option to change our field of view. So hopefully next season, Epic finally listens to the players and gives us an FOV slider. Number 12. Put moving circle endgames back in pubs. Ever since they removed moving circles from pubs, endgames have gotten a lot more boring and campy. So often now, games will end in a heal off, which makes for an unsatisfying way to win the game. Whereas when you have moving circles, it forces players to move and fight, which makes for a much more exciting way to end the game. This has been a common request ever since it was removed from pubs, so hopefully Epic will bring it back next season. So finally, we get to number 13, and this is one that really affects me personally, as what we've been crying out for a long time now are improvements made to custom matchmaking. As someone who used to host customs every single week, I know how overly complicated and stressful it can be running them with the way Epic has them set up. It's too easy for them to mess up and not work properly, so I'm hoping that Epic are able to work out a way that is simpler and a lot less hassle. They also need to make it so that the host has more control on how the matches play out. You should be able to tweak the settings to add SIPHON, increase the harvesting rate, and things like that. If this becomes a reality next season, then that will make custom matches way more enjoyable, and would actually make me want to host them again. So fingers crossed that Epic finally makes some changes to custom matchmaking, as they've basically left them untouched for over a year now. So there we have our list. Do you agree with the list? What would you like to see happen in Season 2? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you want to support me as a content creator, then feel free to use my creator code, which is on the screen now. So anytime you buy something in the item shop and use my code, it will go directly towards supporting the channel, which would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time for another video. Goodbye.